Okay, folks, we are going to get going. Please remember to silence your phones. And it is 6:01 on July 12th, 2022. And we will start the meeting off with the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand. Bob, can you start us out tonight?
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Approve the agenda for the meeting. Anybody got questions on that? Thank you. All right. Number 3, approve the minutes from June 14th.
Sorry.
Get a motion for that?
I'll motion to approve.
Motion by Amber, second.
I
Second.
Second.
Which one do you want?
Yeah, you can take it.
All right, Patty's got the second. Any discussion? All right, motion passes. Minutes are approved. All right, number 4, public comment. People wishing to address the board will be limited to 2 minutes each, with public comment limited to a total of 30 minutes. Anybody wishing to address the board tonight? Seeing none, we will move along. Number 5, monthly reports from the departments. We'll start with the fire department.
Evening residents and board. In the last month, we're currently staffed with 47 members. I picked up 2 last week. Calls, we had 48 calls for service, 36 EMS, 12 for fire. Fire alert, fire consisted of 5 mutual aid calls, motor vehicle accident, 1 gas leak smell, 2 power lines, and 2 carbon monoxide calls. And the first time in my 31 years of being a firefighter, we got a cat out of a tree. So, you know the old joke, save any basements or get a cat out of a tree? Well, we got a cat out of a tree last week. Training, our EMS squad, we did a Project Lifesaver drill. And last month, our fire training consisted of once a year per NFPA, we have to pull all the hose off the trucks, test it. We do that over in the Ridges parking lot, thanks to them. Other notes on training, state had another round of state certification tests, and firefighters Wanta and Harris passed their Firefighter 1 exam through the state. And firefighter Jared Hoppenthal just completed Firefighter 2 through the state and is about to test out for EMR. So congrats to those members. So we had a monthly meeting, an officer meeting, training meeting. Our new truck is moving along. It will probably be ready by late September. The salesman threw it on the production staff that he wants it ready for the Mavis convention in September up in Stevens Point. So we'll see if that happens. So, public relations, we displayed equipment at the EAA breakfast out at Alexander Field. We participated this last weekend in the 75th anniversary for Rudolph Fire. Ran a couple units up to Rudolph for their parade. We held our quarterly retiree breakfast. We do have a blood drive coming up next week at the fire station. I don't know how, but they conned me into doing a 3-dayer. So July 20th and 21st, and then they're going to try a Saturday morning. So Saturday, July 23rd, Versity will be doing a blood drive as well in our fire station. I want to thank everybody who came out and supported our picnic. Smoke detectors, we did 2 homes this last month, signs 5, and there are no injuries to report. So, any questions from the board?
Is that blood drive just to come as you are, or you make appointment, or how does that
You
work?
can go online and make an appointment, but no, they certainly take walk-ins.
Okay.
So, but if you want to make sure you have a time slot, or if you're given like double reds, then they like appointments for those. But yes, they will take walk-ins if they can squeeze you in. So.
Any other questions?
Anything else from the board? Okay.
Thanks, sir.
All right.
Police.
Hey, good evening, everyone. The Grand Rapids Police Department handled 330 calls for service for June. That compared to 426 calls for service in June of last year, a 22.5% decrease in calls. And attached is a breakdown of those calls. Police Department issued 57 traffic citations, 16 municipal ordinance citations, and 27 written warnings for the month of June. For the first 6 months of 2022, the Grand Rapids Police Department has handled 1,898 calls for service, and that compares to 1,926 calls for service during the first 6 months of 2021, and that's about a 1.5% decrease in total calls. Officers for the Grand Rapids Police Department conducted handgun qualifications at the Wisconsin Rapids Police Department range on June 6. Officers completed their mandatory annual handgun qualification requirements as prescribed by Wisconsin Department of Justice Training Standards Bureau. On June 8th, the Grand Rapids Police Department, Wood County Sheriff's Office, Wood County University of Wisconsin-Madison Division of Extension participated in a community bike ride around Lake Wazeecha. It was an enjoyable ride with community members, and to help promote and support the bike share program in the area. That's the bicycle racks you see around the area that people can basically rent and use as they need, and then return them to their another location. So it was great to get out and see some of those bikes being used. On June 25th, the Grand Rapids Police Department also participated in that EAA Chapter 706 Community Pancake Breakfast at Alexander Field, and that gave local residents a chance to see the facility improvements at the airport. It also included aircraft and first responder vehicles, as Bob pointed out. And it was just a great opportunity to showcase all those agencies that support the airport and the surrounding communities. Patrol Vehicles Department doing well outside normal maintenance, and feel free to stop by anytime if you have any questions, concerns, or just want to talk. Any questions?
Since the ATV, I know it's just been a few short days, but since the ATV stuff, have we had any issues or anything like that?
No, we haven't. We've seen them out on the roads, and overall, like I said, we haven't had any complaints or anything. I think one thing that I have noticed, and this is just my own personal observation, is that they're not riding on that right side of the travel portion of the roadway. They're going right down the center of the travel lane. Technically, they're supposed to be on that right side. The few that I saw doing that were the full-size, excuse me, side-by-sides that are about as wide as the vehicle anyway. But just a reminder out there for everybody that by town ordinance, you are supposed to ride on the paved portion on the right side, not onto the shoulder, just on the paved portion. So that's the only thing that I personally observed when the few that I've seen out on the roadway. So, but other than that, no, it's so far so good. So, any other questions? Okay, thank you.
All right, next will be Jewel with the treasurer's report.
Okay, for the month of June, our receipts were $31,143.03. Total disbursements were $244,204.01. Cash on hand at the end of the month in our checking, the outstanding checks we have is $22,508.70. Our repo account has a balance of $972,023.90. Our money market is $327,259.53.
Our ARPA account jumped up considerably because we got our second installment in. So that is up to $668,454.55. And the tax accounts have a balance of $126.30, so a grand total of $1,990,372.98.
Questions? Julie?
You're Mr. Harsinski.
Yes,
Okay,
I did make it.
yeah. Peggy had emailed that you might be late.
Well, I had no idea when I called.
All right. Moving on, consideration and possible action on outside storage of vehicle application for Thomas Harsinski for 3 vehicles at 4711 9th Street South, parcel number 07-1840 and 07-1841.
Mr. Chairman, could I
Sure.
ask a couple questions or
Absolutely.
just make a couple comments? So, Mr. Harsinski, I see the application. I also see the way that we've noticed it. But in the application, it looks like you are noting 2 vehicles. I noticed
Yeah,
it's noticed for 3, but I see that you're stating.
At the time the officer noticed this,
Mhm.
I believe the blue car was still registered. And that plate has since been transferred to the gray one that I use now.
Okay.
So there's still only, the gray one is sitting by my driveway at home, and shortly that's gonna go in the garage next door, and the other 2 will sit outside.
Okay, so part of what this board will consider is things like duration, which you asked for on the application, number of vehicles, and I'm hearing 2. Can you clarify what on that list is not a vehicle you're looking for the permit for?
Yeah, well, let me show you.
I have, well, they're all T-birds, I guess.
Yeah, and
Black,
all the
blue,
same here.
black, blue, or gray?
Okay, this is about how it was when the officer noticed it. There's the blue one I was using, but it broke. So I bought the gray one and been using that one. That black one is back here and I bought that. It doesn't have an engine and transmission in it. I just bought it because it had options on it. The blue one didn't, which until it broke, I was gonna keep using.
So which one of the 3 are you going to be removing shortly, is what I'm asking? Because you're asking
Well,
for.
the gray one's gonna be put in the garage, at least over winter.
Okay, so what you're asking for is the outside storage permit for the blue and the black one. The gray one you said will be moved indoors.
Right.
Okay. And has the board seen the photographs that,
No, I just brought those.
it'd probably be helpful for them. So the other thing that the board would be considering is things like location on the property, screening if any needed from the neighbors, or just, kind of at least reviewing the photographs. And so those may be helpful for the board to have.
Okay, you give them to Amber, and then we'll just kind of pass them around.
Okay.
That's all right.
Let me explain. This is about how it was. That's a gray one, that's a blue one that broke, and the black one's way back there. And this is how it is now. I put the blue one on the car trailer and it gets there. And the gray one's over by my house right now, and this is a little closer. It shows you, I've got them set back in those trees as far as I can without moving more trees, which isn't one of my favorite hobbies.
That's all I have, Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, may I ask a question of the police chief?
Absolutely.
Chief, have we received any complaints or anything related to this?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
So is this something that was
done and referred to us by, how was this put on the agenda?
So, I can answer that. So in your ordinance, you have an ordinance relating to junk vehicles and the outside storage of junk vehicles. This is, so a permit came in as it should. I believe you had mentioned, the applicant had mentioned that he had received notification from the officers or a notice from the
Right.
officers. When the application comes in by our ordinance, it is you, the town board, that issues the permit. And as I had reviewed with the applicant, there are certain things that the town board can consider, things like duration, number of vehicles, location on the property if necessary to kind of minimize the impact to the neighbors, if any. So those are things, this is all within your realm. This is the town board's authority to issue this permit and certain things around it. And so that's why it's in front of you.
So we have something in our packet, other than this is gonna be on the agenda? We don't have this information?
I think you,
Okay, that.
yeah, I think you have
All right, then.
precisely the application, yeah, but as I had asked, the application has 3 vehicles on it, but the applicant is asking for 2.
Yeah.
Thank you. One of the things I know we used to do years ago is if somebody wanted a vehicle out there, they had to pay the price of a license and have it sit outside. If they put it in their garage, they didn't need it. I know my neighbor had that about 5 or 6 years ago. Wanted 2 vehicles that weren't licensed, so fine, but you're gonna pay the fee to the town for the same license.
And if I may respond to that, so that is still the current process. This is a limited duration deviation to allow the outside storage of those vehicles. And so that's why you would set a duration on any approval that you would give.
And that he's looking for just a 1-year permit if possible.
Mr. Chairman, may I ask the applicant some
Yes,
questions?
sir.
So just a couple questions. So you're looking for this just for the 1 year, is that correct?
Well, I'd like it longer, but I put a year because I wasn't sure what the town ordinance said concerning that.
Okay.
There's just, I like those, I've always liked those cars. And parts for them are almost impossible to get.
Okay.
You know, I didn't intend on ending up with 3 of them, but.
So your goal is eventually to make one of the according to the
Right,
application, to make one of them?
I plan on making the gray one
And then you're gonna get,
as best as I can, and then eventually get rid of
and
the other
eventually you'll get
2.
rid of the other scrap. Is this gonna be something that you'll do permanently then with other vehicles or do in the future?
No,
Or
no,
okay.
this is just my hobby, and I get obsessed with stuff every once in a while.
Don't we all?
Go a little batty with it.
Okay. Have you got any complaints from your neighbors or anything
No,
like that?
no.
Or has this become any issue or anything other than?
No, nobody's ever said anything as far as I know, at least not to me.
Okay.
You know, that's why I took the pictures, because I put them back in the trees as far as I can, because I don't like stuff all over the place either. If for no other reason, it makes it really hard to mow.
Right.
I'll make a motion that we approve the permit to be for 1 year to allow the vehicles as noted in there, that Ford Thunderbird, the blue one and the black one, to remain outside for that 1 year. And he says he's gonna be moving in the gray one. So that really wouldn't be part of the permit. And then looks like for the fee that he had, if you paid the fee for this already, or?
Yes.
Okay, so he's paid the fee, so I will make a recommendation that we accept that for the 1 year time period.
Do you want to
Based
put a
on,
date?
what's that?
Did you want to put a date or 1 year of?
1 year
today?
from, yeah, it looks like the date that he submitted this, but I would go for the date today would be fine.
What I would like to see in that too, if we can, is, one vehicle be gone shortly. Shortly can mean that's pretty open-ended.
Mhm.
I'd almost like to put a date of when that has to be put in the garage and cleaned up.
Oh, the gray one will be in there probably by Monday.
say by the end of July then would be the date with that vehicle would have to be removed from the property. And then, the black and the blue one can remain for the 1 year, which would be from today's date. That's, unless we want to go with the date on the actual permit, since the permit's on there. Nick, what do you recommend on that?
No specific recommendation. I would just note that the way our ordinance is written, the fee is an annual fee. And I think the fee we would calculate from his date of application.
So I think let's go with the 6/17 of 2022, since that's stated on the application, and we'll approve that. I would make a motion that we approve that for the 1 year. There's been no complaints from neighbors that we're aware of. Nobody's here to speak against this. The police department hasn't received any complaints. Based on the photographs, I don't see anything that is that visually unappealing that it creates anything real significant, and I've not been made aware of anything to the contrary. So I'll make that motion.
And the grade.
The gray would be out by the end of, the gray one would be
The
not part
gray
of
one will
this.
be in the garage probably by next Monday.
Yeah.
Let's say by the end of
By
July.
7/31? Is that
Yep.
your motion?
Yes, by the
Okay,
end
I'll
of July.
second that.
You got that, Joe?
Mhm.
It's somewhat confusing.
Okay, so we got a motion by Andy, a second by Patty. Do we have any further discussion?
So I have a question on this. So this is kind of setting the precedence in my estimation, is the fact that I could have a car sitting out there or a truck and I see them all over as lawn ornaments. I don't have to pay anything on them. But because this don't have what every other vehicle's got, it's just sitting there for parts. All I gotta do is pay $50 a vehicle or a truck or a motor home or anything that's not licensed. Is that the way this ordinance reads? It says vehicle.
Can I respond?
Mhm.
Bill, I think you're right, but the thing is they would still have to go before the board with this permit, and we would have to evaluate the conditions set forth that the attorney described, and the location, the duration, anything that will go along with it, whether we've had complaints, whether or not it's an issue.
Well, we told the person that does photographs for people, weddings and stuff like that, on Lake Avenue right here, he had a truck out there that he would take these photos with. And he was told to move them, or he would have to pay a fee. And I know 3 more vehicles that are out there like that. This gentleman came in and asked for a permit to have them, is that right? If he would not have, they could have just sat out there.
It sounds like you got a letter from one of the police officers.
Oh,
who-
that's what I thought, okay.
And they commonly drive around and look for, ordinance violations, and if they notice that there's a vehicle that's unregistered that's sitting there and that meets the criteria for the ordinance, I'm assuming, I don't know this for
Okay,
sure.
so that's how this got, okay, I'm satisfied.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved. Permit's been approved.
Okay, thank you.
All righty. Number 7, consideration and possible action on the town's acceptance of a monetary donation for the ATV UTV signage. Sir.
I'll stand up here so I can talk to you. I'm John Barton, I'm president of the Saratoga ATV UTV Riders Club. Along with me today is Doug Johnson, our new secretary, and Marge Gillerman, our treasurer. Back when you guys started talking about opening your roads and road routes, we came in with letters and we came in and talked to you and told you that we would be able to help pay for some of your signage. And that's what we're here to do today. We represent about 115 members, and with that said, we have a check for $1,850 to give to you guys for signage and roads to be used to pay for that. Out of that, I would say that most of it comes from the club. There was 3 other donors that would like to be mentioned. One of them was Darla and Andrea Kingiger on the behalf of Rick Cole and Leo Engel. Also, another donation was made from Bob and Michelle McDonald from Mickey's Tip Up, and another donation came from Jeff and Marge Gillerman. So there was 3 separate donations they gave to the club. We packaged it all together, and we're presenting you with a check for $1,850. We hope that this money helps your township with the cost of signage, road routes, and remember, if there's anything that you need from our club, let us know. We do have 3 registered trail ambassadors, which can help out patrol road routes if you're having problems with somebody, kids riding on the roads and you need somebody to talk to them about the rules and regulations. That's what we're there for. So with that said, we'll give you a check for $1,850, and if we can have a picture of that larger check after the meeting, we certainly can do that. So that I can keep it in our record.
The treasurer.
See that one? Treasurer gets lost when you get to see it. So I hope that helps you guys. We're a club that tries to keep our promises, and we came through pretty good, I think, for you.
Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
So-
Thank you, appreciate it.
A motion to accept the generous check of $1,850 from the Saratoga ATV and UTV Riders Club.
I'll make that motion.
Andy, can I get a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion on it? Motion approved. Thank you very
Okay.
much. We appreciate
you.
that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Number 8, consideration and possible action on the Economic Development Committee recommendation of trail signage, locations, and attractions.
So I have a little update on this since I put that in for the packet. So I met with planning and zoning, and they're going to create that map. On the back of your packet, you see how the example of town of Saratoga. So they're going to create it for the town of Grand Rapids. And it's not going to quite look like this. They said they're going to make it look a lot nicer. So the locations that they had suggested to feature on the map would be the beaches, so red sands and white sands, the boat landings at Wazeecha and Nepco, parks, the Westland Park and Knoll Park, Town Hall, Fire and Police, Airport, the golf courses, the existing trails and paths and the new connection, and then connection to trails outside of Grand Rapids and lakes and streams. So the questions that I wanted to bring back to the board, because they're kind of the sports complex that just got put in by Lincoln, that was a question if they should include it because it's right there. And then people could know, using the trail to get to that. So is that something we want to put on the map location?
Would it misguide them as far as thinking that it's town of Grand Rapids? That would be my only thing, unless the map could differentiate something to that effect. I mean, I don't have a problem showing that at all, because it would, some of that property was the town of Grand Rapids at one point. So,
I know we surrounded on
right.
the south side and on the back, so.
So it would just,
And
it
just like
wouldn't
the
be
BMX.
like noted on the poles, it would just be on that
On the map.
Sure.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I don't see a
I
problem with
don't
that
see
at all.
why it hurts, yeah.
Okay. And then the other thing pointed out, you mentioned county park land on 80th.
Where they dredged
Yeah.
all that?
Oh.
Yeah,
Is there
so I don't know if.
I don't think we really
I-
have, there's not great access on a bike or trail
I
system
agree
up
with
to that
that.
point. I don't
Okay.
think we should do that. I want to encourage people to be riding bikes
On
down 80th
80th.
Street
Right, okay.
with no ditch line.
Sounds good, I agree with that.
There's nothing to really benefit out there anyways, I mean,
The BMX,
That would be considered part of the sports complex.
Oh, okay,
Right
I see.
there,
Mhm.
yeah.
Okay.
So then, they're gonna actually work with the city as well to make sure that, because they have maps of like attractions and trails and stuff, to make sure that it's all accurate if there's anything else that needs to be added or not. So, but that seemed to be the most comprehensive list at this point. So then, locations, the first location would be that by 32nd and Kellner Road, not right at the intersection, but prior to that. And then I had examples of what would be on those. On those meaning what's on the pole. Second location would be 48th and North Beach Road. And then third location being North Beach and Lake Wazeecha entrance. And
I did miss, we need to add bike share location on there. I didn't have that on there. So that's one that needs to be added. And then also I'm gonna talk with Chad to make sure, because that trail sign is likely gonna have to go on county property in order to be, because if you're going around Wazeecha to know to take that, it would have to be on that corner. And
Right.
so I'll talk to him about that. If not, we'll just have to pull it out a little bit. So then the fourth location, that's the one that I have questions about and thoughts. So we had suggested maybe boat landing at 64th, but when I talked to planning and zoning, they thought maybe something on 80th and the trail because of the connection between Kellner and having like Kellner noted on there as well with food establishments.
So kind of by the big rock over there on the south side of the bridge. That's what
Yeah,
they're thinking,
somewhere,
or up
yep.
on the hill.
Yeah, no, right where that trail comes out, yep,
Okay.
right, yep. Right
By
by the
the
bridge
bridge there?
there, by the
Yeah.
bridge, yep,
That's probably better than the boat landing.
probably.
Yeah.
There's a lot of signage by the boat landing already. The county has a lot there. Because that way, if we have a sign there, I mean, even if we don't have a sign there, we still could point out like an arrow to Kellner and food establishments as well.
Which would be one of the
Which
smaller
would be-
signs on the side.
Yep, correct,
The bike trail
Correct.
signs,
yep.
solar viewing.
Mm-hmm.
And these would be on a wooden 4x4 post, I'm
Yep,
assuming.
yep, so they're on that, so Metcalf Lumber provides the posts, and then Rapid Sign, they're ready to print whenever, and the bill goes, they bill the Village of Port Edward, so we don't see any of that.
I like that.
Yeah. And you can see the logo on top on that page, how it's Town of Saratoga as the example. So our logo would go on top as well. So the Village of Port Edwards, they had more, it looked really nice. It had like trees and all this other stuff, besides just the logo. And so when we were working on the map, when I was working on that with planning and zoning, they had suggested, maybe having, when you open up the Town of Grand Rapids webpage, how it's got the lake, it features the lake and stuff on there, having something like that with maybe the logo in the corner, because it says, "Welcome to Town of Grand Rapids" on there. But up to you guys, if you feel like just the logo would be better, or if we could have something featuring the lake.
I like the way the Saratoga actually pops when you look at that. I don't know what it would really look like if the logo was stuck in the corner. It wouldn't, would the Town of Grand Rapids be really evident? Like I said, I like the way that it pops. Plus, like our logo already has that lake looking effect.
Yep,
Okay, yep, that's
I
fine.
think we go big logo.
Okay. Okay, sounds good. So I guess, any other feedback or comments on like locations or what needs to go on it? We did decide to keep ATV trail and snowmobile trail off just because they had mentioned, that could change. And then we don't want to change out the sign.
Right.
So, and the purpose of the sign is for the trail.
Right.
Walking and
Yeah, walking and
trail.
biking.
Yeah.
And if something new opens up, a new establishment or something, I'm assuming that we would just stack it on the post underneath and go
Yep,
around.
yeah,
up
so
to
that,
the
yep,
post.
that's easier to put those,
Yeah.
yep,
Okay.
those on the post, yep.
So is the city of Wisconsin Rapids involved in any of this?
So they have their
type of
own,
thing?
signage, but this, the Village of Port Edwards, they had received this grant, and they worked
Yeah.
with the city to get something similar, because the city's signage is really expensive, so we had to figure out something that was a little bit cheaper, but looks similar. So how this map is like a blown up JPEG essentially. The planning and zoning is planning to do something more like the city where it's like the black background and looks better, I guess.
Looks
Yeah.
richer.
So the city has none on the bike path on W here at all? They
Not
don't-
here, no,
They have
they have
this-
them within city limits, they do, yeah. But they don't have any, yeah.
So how did you say we're going to pay for this?
The Village of Port Orchard has the grant. They already have the
yeah.
money.
And they're including us in it?
Yep, they included all of
Oh,
Southwood
wow.
County municipalities. So we just need to give them or give Rapid Sign and Metcalf Lumber the go-ahead, and then they'll provide it.
Nice.
And we're slated for 4 signs, the cost of 4 signs.
Mhm.
so.
Nice. Yeah, I think you actually have all the locations, you've got it, east and west.
I'll make a motion, you go through with them,
Motion by Bill,
as discussed.
a second.
I'll second that.
Andy, second. Any further discussion?
Oh, nice job.
Yes, very much. Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion passes. Number 9, consideration of possible action on the Personnel Committee recommendation to purchase workhorse software for the township. So we had a demonstration here in the middle of July. Amber and I have talked to several area municipalities and the clerk at the county, what people are using out there. Our current software system, as we've stated several times, is outdated. Customer service, to put it politely, is poor. I know Jewel has several phone calls in that have not been answered for at least 3 weeks. And getting stuff from them has been difficult. So we had a gentleman come in, go through a PowerPoint, spent a couple hours looking at what it had to offer. There are several municipalities around the area, plus around the state, that are currently using this workhorse software system. They are located in Wausau, which is nice, privately owned. So, they're right down the road. And like I said, other close by municipalities are using it. So the one thing that we probably would not do right away would be the miscellaneous billing portal on the front page. Don't know if we would need it or not. And the thought is kind of to start with the municipal accounting, the payroll, and then the payroll portal on the back, and get that up and going. And then if we had a need for the miscellaneous billing, add that later down the line.
Is that miscellaneous billing, if I may ask, more like the dog permits and things like that?
I guess it could be used for that, but I don't know that it would be better than the current program that we have. And without getting in and digging into this whole program, it's
Okay.
hard to tell. It definitely could be used that way. If we didn't have anything, I would say absolutely. But with the demonstration that we had, I don't know that it would be way better than what we've got and guaranteed. That's why I think we kind of hold off on buying that portal until we know more about how this program works and everything.
Is the training time in-house?
Yes. But I'm sure they would be able to do it virtually also.
And Lisa was part of the demonstration
Oh, she
via
was.
Zoom.
Yeah.
Was
So
one of my
she
questions.
watched it, and we've had several conversations. She's reached out to Workhorse and other clerks in the area and talked to them about how the program and questions and
And she liked it also?
yeah, it's definitely
Different.
It is. It's change, and nobody likes change. Some of the things are more efficient. Some of the things aren't quite as efficient. But I know that listening to the salesman, And one of the conversations that Lisa did have with another clerk, if there's something that the people who are using the program find that is more efficient if it went this way, if they get enough people who inquire about it, they'll work and fix it and make that change with them.
Okay,
So they're really good.
they're open to suggestions.
Yep,
And
yep.
is it window-based? I'm hoping.
It's PC-based, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, and they will move to a virtual within the next 2 years.
Okay.
And the nice thing is with this one versus our current, when they do an upgrade and they push it out.
okay.
They don't charge. Our current, anytime they do an upgrade, it's another
You gotta
charge,
buy it.
it's another year's worth. So, there are some, the customer service and the flexibility, I think of this are gonna be head and shoulders above what we currently have. The actual program and using it is probably gonna be very similar to what we have. Wouldn't you kind of agree with that? But
For me, yeah, I like the fact that I don't have to handwrite all those receipts.
yeah.
Now, are they able to transfer the current information that we have to this seamlessly, or is it a lot of data input?
It'll be a lot of data input.
Oh.
I know Lisa was talking and that she's hoping, she's at a point where she is feeling better and can work from home. And she said she'd be willing to do that portion if the town would allow her. Do a lot of the legwork there.
Only if her doctor says she can,
Right.
Yeah, we're not gonna push it,
Yeah.
but she's
not because she wants to.
So they really don't have any way of transferring because of the factor of our antiquated system?
Well, it's just two completely different systems, so it's not like they can download it into an Excel system and then upload it and populate everything. So the timeline for this would be anywhere between 3 to 6 months to get it up and going, which would actually be pretty nice. If we
So we'll
can
run
get
it parallel?
If we can get it the beginning of the year, which if we go ahead and tell them, we can plan on having it the beginning of the year. And then what we would run is, we would run MSI and Workhorse
Okay.
together for, call it 3 to 6 months
Yeah.
depending.
Parallel system?
Where as long as the information is both, if we have problems with one, then we have that backup. And then I know one question that they're working on with the IT department is if we stop using MSI but keep it somewhere, we'll be able to go back and access all of those records
That was
on
gonna
that
be,
program.
yeah, that was gonna be my other question.
So that's one big question, before we do anything permanent, that we have the ability to do that. It'd be nice to be able to go back and access it in the old program versus trying to data input all of that into a new one.
Right.
So we would start fresh after, with a new budget at the beginning of the year
Yeah,
and move forward,
Work
close the books, year-end books through our current one, and then push it forward. It's kind of what we're looking at.
I noticed, talks about here that there's some breakdowns for payments between years. Are we planning on just paying for this in full with next year's budget?
What I would recommend in this here would be an ARPA purchase.
And this fits the criteria?
Yes, this would fit the criteria.
so the grand
Just
total
a
of.
general, just a general note that when we did our first report, one thing that we had to do in that first report was designate the loss of revenue amount, which we can do the full amount, and that's what I did do. So we can then spend it on general government services, and this fits within that. So just to give a bit more of an answer to that, other than yes.
So what is that amount?
Is that
So
that
the 19?
19.8?
No, because you were leaving some stuff off.
I would take that 36 out,
Yeah.
but then on the back, you've got the 3, so it would be,
Take $600 off that.
yeah, so you're looking at, it's 19.2.
So we
maybe
would
12.
use the 19 and out of the ARPA funds. And a year from now, right, is this a yearly contract? Or is this?
Yes, it would be a yearly contract.
So you
Yeah.
should
Not,
specify.
not for this purchase price, for the annual support. So you gotta look at your
Yeah.
annual support.
So then-
That would be
yeah.
the yearly.
You should specify them, because of course we have certain durational limitations for spending and that with ARPA funds. So are you doing the purchase price then just with ARPA funds, and then that ongoing support you'll make a determination during budgeting
I,
what that.
right now, I know that we budget for IT or computer software anyway, so we have that as a budget item anyway. So I would say do the initial purchase with the ARPA funds and then the annual support going forward. Plan on doing that as an annual budget line item.
So for purposes of the minutes, so when we get to the reporting, we have good record. If somebody's going to make a motion, then make it for whatever that purchase price is to come from ARPA funds, so we have that in the minutes. That way, when I do the reporting next year, I can trace it
I'll
back.
second Jeremy's motion.
So I have one more question here. So, if when we're talking about the annual support plus the purchase price, the annual support right now is $3,200, and did they talk about increases on that?
No,
They did talk about it, okay.
no, not
So-
as far as increases. no.
So if a person would think about 5 years of support, that would equate to $16,000. And,
Yeah.
and the purchase of the product is 19.2. So a person could, are you saying we could do annual support?
Well,
Or not really?
not exactly.
Okay.
So remember that we have certain restrictions on when we have to have those ARPA funds spent by.
Yes.
Right, and so
They
to
can't
just,
be
to
earmarked.
just lead into this thinking that you're going to spend ARPA funds, you know, year after year for the annual support would probably be a problem. You're better off doing the purchase price, which I saw some calculating going on. Is that 16.2 plus,
It'd be
Um,
19.2.
plus the 3,000, right? So 16.2 plus 3,000. That would be the amount that would come from ARPA funds. Then during your budgeting,
Oh, then.
you can make determinations as far as that annual support.
Well, and it depends on how many timesheets we do annually, that the pricing for annual pricing on this is gonna be for the payroll portal. So that breaks down, that doesn't give you the annual pricing, because it depends on, I don't know how many timesheets we do annually.
What did we come up with there? We had, what, 5? I know,
I think we
I
were
remember.
with the fire, I think. the
Yeah,
fire
I know I
department
did
goes
that math,
in,
and I
so-
wanted to say it was between the 401 and the 800.
So that'd be an additional 500.
I mean, we budget a lot of money every year on our current software payments for the updates.
$3,613.83.
So we're-
Just paid that.
3,000,
You're
yeah,
basically right.
We're
3,600.
pretty much gonna be
It's a-
where,
It's a push there with what
We were.
with what we were.
I don't like, I guess I don't like the annual being something that we look at ARPA for as much when we are gonna be incurring that expense for several years to come. That is going to be, need to be built into our budget.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's been in the past, and we should keep it that way.
Okay, so 19.2 for the, plus the 3,000.
3,000 plus another 500 likely, depending on the number of timesheets.
It'd just be 3,000,
Yeah.
2,500 plus the 500.
Yes.
Isn't it?
About 3,700 bucks.
It's 19,200 total, right?
Yes, for the purchase
For the
price.
pro-
Yeah,
And
that's
that's
all.
about,
So I would just make one motion, just the purchase price. The annual part is what you'll determine and budget for during the budgeting process. Because this, as it says on the second page, this includes the first year.
Yeah.
So
Oh, yeah.
consider your,
That's-
the ARPA funds would be for the purchase price column.
Yeah.
Annual price, that is something that you should have in front of you when you're going through the
Doing the
budget.
budget.
It would be the 32 plus the 500, because we wouldn't be doing any of the time slot between now and the first year.
question, Mr. Chairman, if we looked at every other option, as the clerk researched this, this is kind of like their best,
Yeah,
this has been vetted out.
We've looked, I've talked to CLA, you know, there's not a lot out there for what we do township-wise. And to be honest with you, when the county clerk put out a survey for us, there was 3 programs that came back. One was Workhorse, one was the MSI that we used, and then the other one is the one that the county uses, which is a monster, way, way bigger than what we need. I did talk to CLA about like QuickBooks and stuff like that. It's just not something that works for a township purpose. So they quickly shut that one down, and they said they're familiar with this one. And they don't have a
The
ceiling.
village of Port Edwards working with the county on their service.
Rome uses that also, yep.
Well, I just know we've had plenty of problems with the one that we have now, and it always seems to be an issue. So I'll make a motion that we make the purchase of workforce software for $19,200, and being the purchase for the municipal accounting, the municipal payroll portal, and the payroll portal. So those three. And then the annual support costs we will determine in our budget cycle.
I'll second.
Can I just ask that your motion include that the 19,200 is coming from ARPA, if that is your intention?
And then $19,200 will come from ARPA.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, motion passes. Okay. Number 10, June disbursement vouchers.
I just want to make a note, on Amber's, did you mean to have the Personnel Committee and the Economic Committee as one for a total of 3 meetings versus 4?
You mean economic development and public safety? Those were together.
Oh, those were
Personnel is
together?
separate.
Oh, that was separate, okay, so you did have 2 separate meetings, okay.
How many days?
Any other question? All right, moving on, operator license applications. What do we have?
Well, there were 2 that were denied,
So that must be
4 approved. Did you miss me?
I missed a
Oh.
meeting, which is fine. I'm not worried about it.
You can change it.
Okay, so we've got,
You can
oh,
change it.
sorry.
Can you still change it?
Yes.
You
Just
wanna
which one
add-
are you adding?
I'm adding this, our closed session on the 29th.
Yeah.
If you guys all approve it.
Oh,
I was there.
I know you were there.
Okay, moving on to the operator license. So we've got 2 that were denied, we've got 4 that were approved for a 1 year. We have a motion to approve the 4.
I can make a motion to approve the 4 as presented, and then noting the 2 denied.
Second.
Andy's got a second, any discussion? Hearing none, motion passes. Okay, monthly reports, Public Works, we did not meet. Airport Commission, we did have a meeting. They're working on the 2-year plan. There's a plan to improve the airport, make any large improvements. It'll take 2 years to finalize this overall plan. And then the plan will move forward, and that could take up to, I believe the number was 25 years to finish the entire plan. Fuel system is being put in there, and there are some holdups there with some pieces of equipment that are behind. Originally, that was supposed to be done about now, and it sounds like it might be into September before that fuel system is completely done. So we've been budgeting fuel purchases based on that timeline, and we're going to kind of move away from that and just start to get fuel, because EAA is coming up here, I believe, the week of the 25th, so traffic could start, and golfing season is in full swing, but it's down for sure, just due to fuel prices. Not as many people are out flying. So, recycling, solid waste, and water.
Let's see, we did not meet, but I wanted to talk about, like last month, I talked about the right way of recycling, the bags and things like that.
No bags in. Mhm.
Yeah, and so this week, or this month, I just want to make a comment about cans. The correct way for recycling cans are,
She brought props.
yes, and a little props, are like this. And what happens is that if these come from the can, you'll want to get rid of that in the regular garbage, because what happens is that these will roll into the conveyor or roll into another, like a paper product. And so if this contaminates a paper product, then, of course, then that product, that recyclables are not able to be recycled because it has metal in the paper. So this is actually if you're an ultimate recycler, you'll take the paper product off of the can like this, wash it out to be clean, and then you'd recycle it as such. You'd take the lid, put it inside of it, and then that way the lid is intact and it doesn't go into the conveyors or anything. So I just wanted to bring up a little prop to just show the correct way to recycle cans.
Very nice.
Sure.
Thank you. Planning Commission.
We met last night and we approved a zoning permit for a detached garage that the proposed height was 21 feet. He was able to go 21.6, but he only asked for the 21 feet. Then we denied a accessory build, or accessory, it'd be a zoning permit application due to obstruction of vision triangle, or being able to see at stop signs and corners. We did further discuss our residential districts as far as the permitting and the conditional uses. One in ordinance number 52. We're starting to work on the commercial district B1, and our next meeting is August 9th.
Is
That's
that
it.
here?
Yes.
Remember, that's election.
Oh, yes, that is correct. Okay, we'll have
You
to.
guys must meet on the 8th, August 8th.
Yes, August 8th.
Yeah, because we would be here on the 9th.
Yeah, it's August 8th, sorry
All
about
right, so
that.
you should be good then. Okay. Public buildings,
But the meeting room will be set up for election, so they might have to meet at the
Oh, we
fire
can meet at
department.
the fire department on August 8th. I'll make a note of that, thank you.
public buildings.
We didn't meet.
Okay. Legislative, we did not meet. Public safety,
We did meet, we discussed the fire department contracts, and we'll be talking about that later in the meeting tonight.
okay. Economic development,
We met, got Andy up to speed on the trail, the old road right away, and then discussion on those signs.
personnel,
Nothing new from what we're
met with the
discussing.
workforce, you know.
Yeah.
WTA meeting,
Yes, WTA meeting was held on the 17th of June. It was here at the town of Grand Rapids. We had 28 officers and 10 guests, and one of the guests was Tom Buss, and he was very welcomed at it, and stood around and talked to a lot of his old friends from it. And Shane from the Wood County Land and Water Conservation informed the members of the Wood County and what the well testing is going on and what will be going on in the future on it. And it was quite interesting, and a lot of questions were asked. And the Wisconsin Towns Association Director, Jan Hedrick, reminded the members of the Wisconsin Towns Association Convention that's being held in Appleton area. So the next meeting, of course, is Friday, the 15th, and it'll be in the town of, it's the town of Hanson, but it'll be held in Pittsville, where the town of Wood has its town hall. And the guest speaker at that's going to be the Register of Deeds for Wood County.
thank you. Reports from individual town board members. Bill?
Yes, I have a few things. What was this meant for the town to do? And I mean, I don't know who else all got one.
Lisa got one, quite a few different board members
Well,
that,
was it for the fleet, for the town to get their gas here, or individual people?
I think it's
It was weird.
an offer for the town.
And then this is all the places you can get it at, so,
I didn't see that.
So I work for the state and we use those Wex fleet cards.
yeah, yeah. And I was wondering, Edgewater subdivision handed us this at our last meeting. And I wonder, I was asked, is the town gonna act on it? Otherwise, we requested that he put something in writing and send it to us. So I don't know what's gonna be done of it or what to tell him, but, and it was Jerry Bloom who did that, so. And the other thing is I see you did shift around and now you've got, you got off the 2 committees yourself? You wasn't here, so somebody else filled in for you on the committee?
Which committee?
Was it
The only thing I wasn't here for was the WTA meeting. I was in Canada.
I thought it was the two of the other committees. I'll check and ask her about it, and I'll check it out.
Anything else?
Nope.
Patty?
How are we doing with the Wisconsin surplus? I haven't had a chance to check it out at all. It's
I'm
not final
finalizing
yet,
that.
right?
No,
Okay.
I'm finalizing that with him. He and I've been playing phone tag and.
Okay.
But yeah,
All right.
well, that's just about, we've got a set for tomorrow, so hopefully we
To
can get it
end
down.
tomorrow? Or,
No, to get it all up and going. and
oh,
everything.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, so,
That was it.
okay. Andy?
I don't have anything, thank you.
I don't have anything. Amber?
Nope, I don't have anything.
Okay. Moving on, number 14, public input. People wishing to address the board will be limited to 2 minutes each. With public input limited to a total of 16 minutes. Anybody?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would just like to report and have on the record that I still have no response to the email that I sent to each board member in late May. This is an important issue to myself and other residents in the town, and there are ARPA funds that are available to the town that I understand from previous comments at previous meetings could be used for this type of an issue. I would certainly hope that the board would give this a little more consideration, as well as answer the questions that I had in the meeting, or in the email. I would really appreciate it. Thank you.
What's that?
Barbara Randall.
Yeah,
Barbara Randall.
thank you. Bob, you had your hand up?
Oh, just, I don't know, a couple things I neglected and when I was up at the podium. You just answered my one question. I don't know if you noticed, I did move the squad truck, because there's something that's still drawing those deep cell batteries down. So I actually went and made a plug up, and I got it plugged in. I'm gonna leave it out back of the fire station,
Okay.
so it'll keep those batteries topped off.
Yeah.
There's a clock in there that I don't know how to shut off. And the truck was designed to be plugged in all the time, so I had to go out there and run the generator for like 2 hours every week to try to keep the batteries charged, and I finally got sick of that. So it's gonna sit up behind the building.
Yeah, hopefully that'll get more.
And if and when you could get around to the auction thing, if you need the keys to the vehicle, they're in the key box inside the radio room.
Okay.
They're labeled like 1994 squad or whatever, big blue keychain, so. Then item of interest, everybody heard about that big fire in Combined Locks. We actually sent a truck and personnel to that with the Wood County Mavis Strike Force, so I got a call late Friday night by Jerry Miner's the vice president of Wood County Chiefs. I'm the president. He said, we're getting a Mavis request for that Appleton Fire, and he said they're probably gonna need a tender strike force tomorrow because the hydrants at a fire like that could not keep up. Most of that fire water was being pumped out of the Fox River there, or whatever river that is that goes through there. So they were using the rural departments to draft water to supplement what the municipal system couldn't provide. Anyways, when Langley County took a pass through the Mavis system, that put Wood County on deck. So we sent a tender, Pittsville, Arpin, Hewitt, and Town of Rome sent a force over there. They left here at, I think it was pushing 11 o'clock when they got on the road, and they got home and signed out at 6:15 the next morning, so. But,
Just let you know that. So, that's all I had.
Thank you. Anybody else? All right. Hearing none, close that portion. Okay, set meeting date and time for the August Town Board meeting. As was mentioned, August 9th is Election Day, so obviously we can't hold it on our normal second Tuesday. So what does everybody have for availability around, I guess it would have to be after the 9th, so.
I could do the 10th or
Mhm.
11th.
Good with either.
What does the 10th look like, Amber, Jewel?
I can do the 10th.
What's that?
I can do the 10th.
Nick, do you have anything on the
I can do
10th?
the 10th.
You're open on the 10th, everybody, Bill?
10th it is.
Okay. We need a motion for that, Nick, or just?
Consensus.
No,
Good.
just consensus is
That's
fine.
right. All right, August 10th will be the
So, what, a Wednesday?
next board, yeah, it's the next Wednesday. Is that okay with you guys? All right. Future agenda items. Anybody have anything? Okay. On the 17th, Grand Rapids Town Board to move into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statute 19.851E, which reads deliberating or negotiation of purchasing of public properties, investing of public funds, or conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session. Purpose of review, discussion regarding fire department contracts.
I'll make that motion to go in close.
Second.
Andy, second. Do a roll call. Bill?
Aye.
Patty?
Aye.
Andy?
Aye.
Amber? Jeremy? Aye.